Hello, I'm Dennis. I draw it so you don't have to. Now, this painting was inspired by a video Doug Walker, aka that guy with the glasses, made with voice actor Kyle Hebert, known as the guy who does the opening narration for Dragon Ball Z. Apologies if I got your name wrong, mate. The video is freaking awesome, and I recommend you check it out straight away. Doug Walker has a superbly expressive face, and it was a real struggle to pick a particular emotion to illustrate. Now, before we begin, there's a few things that we need to discuss about the tools that I'm using. I use a copy of Adobe Photoshop and a pressure-sensitive stylus. There are many different art programs out there which you can use for your work, and each of them have their own pros and cons, and many of them are aimed at budding illustrators and people on a budget. There's even a few free programs that you can do a search for online. However, I'll be doing a few pictures in the future using these tools. For now, I'm going to be sticking with Photoshop for this video. So, step 1. Pick your image and your composition. For this picture, I thought the elevator scene was the best, as Doug's expression of a man lost in the depths of madness was too good to not use. I actually had a few different shots I could have used for Carl's expression, and in retrospect I could have used a slightly different one, but well, it's a little late now. With your basic idea fixed, it's time to tweak the thing a little and get the composition just right. When doing a character picture featuring very expressive people, it's best to always focus on their faces first and have them dominate the image. In this early setup, I was more interested in using the dimensions of the elevator doors to frame it rather than following this rule, however. Lesson learned. Now that you have your composition fixed, it's time to start your underpainting. With this painter process that I've been using for the That Guy with the Glasses crew, I first run it through a few filters such as cutout and rough pastels. Again, I'm using Adobe Photoshop to do this piece, although I believe the more affordable Photoshop Elements can do the same job. The only purpose these filters serve is to break the image up and give it a more painted undertexture, which will end up being covered by your brush marks anyway. If you don't have these filters on the program you're using, you can always just scan in a few textured pieces of paper or whatever, set them on an overlay layer or something, and paint over that. And here we get to brass tacks and get stuck in with the real job, painting the damn thing. Now, Photoshop has a wonderfully diverse brush system that you can use with a pressure-sensitive stylus, each brush creating a different type of stroke on the screen. There are many videos and tutorials online teaching you how to customize them, create your own, or download others that people have released online. For my paintings, I usually use just the one brush, a nice speckled one that gives a great painted look to my work. Now, on a new layer above your underpainting, you sketch away at the basic shapes and areas of colour that make up your image. I work at a medium opacity and use a mix of short and long strokes with the brush to build up the form over time. The best thing about digitally working is the ease in which you can paint over a mistake. White paints fine over black, unlike traditional media. In this particular painting, I did have a little trouble trying to figure out the shape and lighting on the hands, as well as the subtleties of Doug Walker's facial expression. I'm pretty pleased with how this shot worked out, with the reflection of his face in the surface of the door, as well as how it means I can just cheat and drag a copy of the face I painted and drop it onto that. Again, there's plenty of blocking in, not being a slave to the colours in the underpainting, rather looking at the original reference image to get an idea of how things should look. After taking a brief break and returning to the project, I realised that the POV for this painting was a little too far away and ended up zooming in close to their faces, cutting away most of the useless detail of their bodies. I had also experimented with some low-res versions of the image to figure out what type of adjusted colour palette or shadow highlights would work. It always pays to experiment and not be too precious about your artwork. So now I have an idea what direction I want the image to go in, I get rid of the useless background material and begin beefing up a few colours on a new layer. I then begin to work on the fine detail, giving the image some much needed sharpness. You only need to give this level of detail on the one or two focal areas where you want people to be paying attention. Anywhere else is just wasted effort.
I'm so bored, there's nothing to do in this raining Saturday afternoon. There is no way that I'm gonna watch TV. It's filled with unfunny SOB, but he turned his camera on to save the day. Put on his hat and tie, it will be okay. We are tuning at the same time to watch the walker at his prime. Hello, hello, I'm the nostalgic critic. Hello, hello, I'm the nostalgic critic. Do you have some change? Do you have some change? I vote the walker, it's true, I don't wanna complain. Do you love the walker? Mind you, and I know you all too. I vote the walker, it's true, I don't wanna complain. Do you love the walker? Mind you, and I know you all too.
And that's pretty much it. I add a few deep shadows and highlights to sharpen things up a little, as well as maybe go a little overboard on grungy textures, a weakness of mine, giving the image a more creepy Silent Hill vibe than intended. If you have any opinions, ideas or requests, please enter them in the comments section below the video. Thanks for watching and see you again.